Welcome to Matt Reviews Books, and I am Matt, and this is a book review channel dedicated to older books and some newer books. Finding books. That's all I'm doing. I'm finding books that I like to read, and I'm sharing them with you. But if that sounds like a good time, go ahead and subscribe. But more importantly, I hope you go out and read these books, whether you borrow them or from the library, borrow them from a friend, buy them. This week is a book review, a proper book review, which I haven't done in a while, it feels like. This week is Ben Hinson's Eteka, Rise of the Imamba. Ben reached out to me months ago, and I mean months ago, and I started to read the book. And I started to read the book like 5 times. I started to read the book. I'm glad he did. I am so glad you contacted me, Ben, and shared this with me, because it's a good read. This is a fun story. And what is it about? What is it about? Well, that's the part where we get to Eteka, Rise of the Imamba. There spans 2 different eras of African mercenaries. And it starts off, the earliest period starts off in the 60s in post-colonial Africa. This is the Cold War. This is the height of the Cold War. This is, the Imamba are a group of African mercenaries who are formed from multiple militaries. And there's these 2 primary characters, who ultimately have very differing views of what they see the future of Africa being and their roles in it. But there's a lot of backstory that is happening in these people's lives. There's no escaping it because that is their environment. That is what is forming them and making them. It's their motivation. In the other generation, the second generation of the story, the later period is in the 1990s, where a young man named Eteka is part of the Imamba as well, but they're much more in this form, in this later period. They seem a little bit more like organized crime. Not cool. They're not wearing uniforms in the same way that they did, and it's a really interesting story about that transition. That is somewhat of the synopsis. I'm keeping it vague because I think you should go out and read it. We'll just get that out of the way. You should go read this book. Go find it. I don't have a copy of the book to hold. So what I'll do is I'll step to the side like this, and with movie magic, I will make the cover appear. Yeah, like that. I read electronic copy, so that's why there's nothing. And that brings us to... First of all, it's a great read. It's an adventure. Definitely a thrill. It's got suspense. And as a history fan, as somebody who studied 20th century American history, studied the Cold War, this really was a different take on a period and a place. When I was growing up during that period, during like say the 80s, but a lot of the movies from the 60s to 70s of the Cold War depict Africans, national soldiers, and the political leaders as incompetent, as being venal, as being corrupt. This was a really interesting book. I thought it was it gave more aspect of a grounding and a sympathetic nature to even some of the people who are not really nice people. And I really did like all the characterizations and the fact that I didn't like necessarily the protagonist 100%, and I didn't absolutely hate the antagonist 100%. The other thing that I really liked about this book was the illustrations. The illustrations really are like graphic novel type illustrations of characters and some small scenes. With that, I think I should say I really recommend going out and finding it. In fact, I would even go so far as to say,
Go forth and read it!
Okay, see, I haven't done that in a while, and I kind of miss it. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope you stick around. I hope you follow. And I will see you next time.